Hello, hero of collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am. And today we're going to be doing a quick review of the Marvel Legends Marvel 85th Anniversary Astonishing Wolverine. I did an unboxing for this guy already, so if you did not see that, go click the card over here. Yeah, I think over here. If not, it's over there. So that's why I don't have him in packaging. I'm not going to pull up a picture, but if you want to go see me unbox this guy and get my initial thoughts out, that video should be up and I will direct you to it one of two ways. So let's waste no more time and actually get into the review of this figure.
Alright, getting into the review, I just have to say up top here that I'm going to be very nitpicky in this video. It is only because this is my favorite costume of my favorite character of all time. So, with all my nitpicks and complaints, it's going to sound a lot like I do not like this figure. But as a matter of fact, I freaking love this figure. I'm sorry, I'm very biased, but the only way I wouldn't have any nitpicks is if they made this thing perfect. So I'm biased in the sense of I love this costume. And yes, just up top, I love how this figure turned out. But don't take my complaints as me hating on it and that it affects the overall ranking for this video, or rating, I should say. It's more, if this was perfect, I wouldn't have anything to say. But because it's not, I have just little itty bitty things that just kind of stand out to me because this is my favorite costume of my favorite character. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into what I think is good about this figure. The new sculpting is fantastic. He is top to bottom all brand new, except for the claws. Those are reused, but everything else, the body, the heads, everything is new. And it all looks fantastic. There's even special sculpting for the details of the costume, like the line work and the like tiger stripes, as you would say. Going back to the claws for a moment, I do love these claws. They are the movie claws. I want to see these on every comic figure from now on. They are the best. They look the best. They come out on the figures right. They aren't all wonky like the comic claws used to be. I love the new system for the shoulder pads. Now they're kind of on the circle inside the actual shoulder joint, like they do for Iron Man shoulder pads and whatnot. So that gives us more motion in the shoulder. I really like that. The super articulated torso is nice. It's not utilized to its full effect in terms of the crunch at the ball joint and not the actual crunch itself. But otherwise it still works pretty well. I do enjoy the new hands on this figure. He gets a wide open hand and a pointing hand. That just added some more dynamic options for this Wolverine figure. So I really do appreciate them going that extra mile and sculpting those for this. But with all that out of the way, let me get into my nitpicks, my gripes, what I consider bad about this figure, or bad in quotation marks. So first off, when posing, I got a lot of scuffage on the armpits. It's a really blue and circular now on the shoulder and bicep joint. So that's kind of irksome, but at the same time, I'm not going to be displaying him with his armpits wide open all the time. So it is a shame, but I can still work with it. The fact that he does not actually have a boot cut, like the boot is a separate mold where the blue and black meets the yellow, but it doesn't have an articulation point there to swivel like most Wolverine figures do, is kind of a shame and made it a little bit harder when posing. So I wish that could have been implemented as an actual form of articulation. I really wish that they also included a neutral face with the mask. Him always being angry is nice, but I do appreciate the neutral Wolverine looks as well as his angry looks. And then I just don't love the unmasked head. And it's more, I don't love the design of it and less the execution of the head in physical form for the figure. I'm just not a big fan of the way Wolverine was drawn in that art, and having it in physical form, it's not my favorite look for him. I prefer the more Mark Silvestri and there's a few other artists, but Mark Silvestri is the main one that comes to mind. But that kind of look for Logan. So the Astonishing X-Men Cassaday art isn't my ideal unmasked Logan. So it's not a bad head sculpt, but it's just not my preferred one. And in hand, it doesn't sell me still. So I just don't love it. But with all of that being said, despite everything that I said was kind of a bad or nitpick, I still really love this figure. I'm biased, I have to say that, but I was always going to love this figure because it's my favorite costume. And it is a good figure. I cannot deny that. Again, my nitpicks are because it isn't perfect, but the only way I wouldn't have nitpicks is if it was perfect. I really hope you understand what I mean by all this. But with all of that out of the way, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. There are, of course, changes that could have been made, but I had a blast posing him, and I am more than happy to have him for my collection. I do have a pre-order for another one of these figures so that I can have one with my X-Men and one with my new Avengers. So, yeah, it's going to be in my list of top 10 figures of the year for sure, despite all my issues. And again, my issues are very, very minor. It's just, I've got a lot to say about this figure because it's my favorite Wolverine look. What else can I say? So with all of that out of the way, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.